Hello and welcome. This is Business Live. This is where we talk about businesses, trends, and the implications for the economy. In today's edition, new system to check revenue leakages from exports to be deployed on July 1. Over 50 small businesses in some retail markets in Accra shut down for violation of tax obligations. You can stay interactive with us on Twitter. Our handle is Joy Business, and on Facebook it's Joy Business. For more, you can log on to myjoyonline.com/business. My name is John Kojo Amwakon. We are back after the break.
Business Life today is brought to you by Ghana Commercial Bank.
Welcome back. And EcoBank is attributing a significant growth in profit to acquisition of Trust Bank. EcoBank in 2012 completed the takeover of Trust Bank, which quadrupled its profits to 458 million Ghana cedis as of 2015. This helped the position of it as a leader in the banking industry. Speaking to Joy Business after presenting almost 40 million cedis as dividend to SSNIT, acting managing director of EcoBank, Morgan Esiedi, said they couldn't have come this far without TTB.
We've had a seamless integration now. There is nothing like legacy TTB and EcoBank. Now you have just EcoBank. But yes, it has been good. The XYL TTB had a good SME portfolio, and that's why we went in to acquire TTB. And of course, once they came on stream, our business grew to an appreciable level. So I think that you called it a marriage. It's been a good marriage, and we will continue to work together. For now, as I said, it's just EcoBank. We don't have legacy TTB. All the branches are now EcoBank. You have all the staff, merged. So now we see ourselves as just one entity, one group of staff, and we will continue to, push and grow the business.
Meanwhile, some banks in the country have made significant progress in recovering loans they fear might not be repaid on time. Many of the banks saw a huge decline in profit last year as a result of delays in servicing of loans. Banks like Standard Chartered Bank subsequently reduced lending to some sectors of the economy. Managing Director of EcoBank, Morgan Esiedi, has been explaining to Joy Business measures they are instituting to ensure loans granted are serviced. Our crisis remains a threat to Ghana's economic growth, but should end soon with the remedial steps taken so far. That's according to Oxford Business Group, a global publisher and consultancy firm that specializes in producing investment and economic reports on more than 30 countries. This was revealed at the roundtable discussion organized by the group in Accra today to review the performance of Ghana's economy in the past 5 years. The managing editor for Africa, Robert Tahima, spoke to Joy Business.
The Ghana that we're now covering for our 2017 report is miles away from what the Ghana was when we first arrived in 2010. But it hasn't been smooth and it hasn't been perfect, and we know that because of depreciation and because of doomsor. The doomsor is obviously a big concern for industrial producers and for households. So whether you're a big company or whether you're a one-person household in the countryside, it's a problem, and it's expensive. It's an expensive problem. And addressing that sustainably is going to take a long time. It means investing in big projects. It means building new power plants, improving transmission and distribution grids, and that's not something that can be done overnight. But I think what's important is that you're seeing a lot of the steps moving in the right direction. So the government has already highlighted some short-term solutions with the power barges, for example, coming and providing temporary solutions to the shortage of electricity. If that is successful, then that opens a door to a whole range of new investments, not only from local investors, but also from foreign investors, to help build up the power sector, to help improve supply.
And government is hopeful the ban on some vegetable exported to the European market will be lifted on September this year. Director in charge of logistics and value chain at the Ministry of Trade and Industry, Papa Paul Bartels, believes Ghana is making strides in meeting quality standards set by the EU. He spoke to Joy Business at the big opening of this year's vegetable fair.
In September 2015, the EU placed a temporary ban on vegetable exports from Ghana, citing improper documentation for exports and presence of pests on produce. The ban, which has lasted for about 9 months now, has affected foreign exchange inflow and income of vegetable farmers. Speaking to Joy Business after opening this year's vegetable fair, Director in charge of logistics and value chain at the Ministry of Trade and Industry, Papa Paul Bartels, shared steps taken by government so far to ensure the ban is lifted.
And the ministry has in place an export strategy which is looking at all that we are doing, especially the horticulture sector. And we are seeking to raise, if you like, the bar to such an extent that whatever would come out of Ghana for export meets the international standards. And to ensure that that is done, we have the track project, or what we call the trade-related and quality enabling program, which is supporting key institutions like the Ghana Standards Authority, Food and Drugs Authority, Plant Protection and Regulatory Services. These are key institutions that are involved in the horticultural sector that the track project is equipping and has equipped, to ensure that we have very high standards. And I know that the private sector involvement also in this, where people are putting up reefer houses, cold chain facilities, all in a bid to ensure that our horticultural products that we send out meet international standards.
The two-day vegetable fair, organized by Ghana Veg, is a program initiated by the Netherlands Embassy to improve and sustain vegetable productivity in Ghana. Shile Sibeyeboa is Senior Business Advisor at Ghana Veg.
Ghana Veg believes in a sector that is sustainable and is able to innovate in terms of products and services and contributes to inclusive growth. And with these, you're looking at trading, and you realize that at this fair there are a lot of actors here, right from land preparation through to consumers. And so it's an opportunity to bring them together, bridge the gap, let them build synergies, identify new business partners, broker new business relationships, and create sustainability.
Okay. So what's the focus of this particular fair?
It is to enhance the changes that have come in the vegetable sector, to make it known, and also to draw attention to the fact that even though we are making progress, a lot more has to be done to get there.
The fair is under the theme Promoting Quality Vegetables for Domestic and Export Markets.
Moving on, the finance minister said TECPA is expected to make changes to some targets in the 2016 budget. This is what Joy Business is learning as the minister works to present a mid-year review to Parliament next month. Jojo Afi has more in this report.
Joy Business understands that we wouldn't witness any drastic review of all the macroeconomic targets when the finance minister goes before Parliament to review targets set out in the 2016 budget. It is, however, not clear for now what has influenced the minister's move to carry out this minor review of the estimates. However, some analysts are attributing it to the pickup in crude prices, which was one of the main reasons that influenced government decision to go ahead and review the estimates in the budget because of declining prices of crude oil. Sources say the minister is also expected to review slightly the revenue and expenditure targets in the 2016 budget. According to the 2016 estimates, government is hoping to raise 38 billion Ghana cedis in revenue and spend about 43 billion Ghana cedis. Joy Business is also learning that the minister will give the actual numbers as to how it ended last year when it came to revenue and expenditure. Some of the estimates that could witness a marginal review will include GDP growth, inflation, oil revenue, and possibly the fiscal deficit.
The rate of increase in the price of goods and services continues to rise. Inflation for the month of May increased marginally by 0.2 percentage point. It recorded a rate of 18.9% in the month under review compared to 18.7% in the month of April. More in this Business Desk report.
According to the Statistical Service, the marginal increase could be attributed to the non-food inflation rate, which surged beyond the national average of 25%. Transportation and electricity recorded the highest rate of almost 40.9% and 35.7% respectively. Government statistician Philomena Nyankon explained further to Joy News after a press conference.
And for the monthly change rate, we had 1.1% for May 2016 compared to the 1.4% for April 2016. Then we also looked at the components of the inflation rate. We saw that the year-on-year non-food inflation rate for May 2016 was 25.0% compared with the 24.8% recorded in April 2016. And then also we saw that for the food inflation rate, we had 8.5% for May 2016 compared with the 8.4% recorded for April 2016. And then we also found out that the year-on-year non-food inflation rate was about three times that of the food inflation rate. And then we also discovered that for the locally produced items, the inflation rate was 19.0%. And this was 0.5 percentage points higher than the inflation rate for the imported item. That recorded an inflation rate of 18.5% for May 2016. Then we are saying that for the non-food group, the main price drivers were transport, which had an inflation rate of 40.9%, housing, water, electricity, gas, and other fuels, that is 5.7%, education, 32.3%, and recreation and culture, 27.9%. And for the food inflation rate, the price drivers were vegetables, 11.6%, oils and fats, 11.2%, fruits, 10.3%, mineral water, soft drinks, fruits and vegetable juices, 9.9%, coffee, tea, cocoa, 8.9%, and meat products, 8.8%.
The Greater Accra and Ashanti regions recorded the highest inflation rates, higher than the national average of 18.9%. Greater Accra recorded 22.6%, while Ashanti recorded 20.8%. The Upper East region also recorded the lowest rate of 15%.
Welcome back. And the revenue losses from the country's exports are now expected to be minimized significantly following the introduction of a new processing and monitoring system at the port. The automated system is to be deployed on the 1st of July. The software was launched at the Forum for Exporters and other stakeholders in the export sector on the initiative. Sheila Tamaklo was there for Joy Business and reports.
The new system is developed by the electronic service providers at the country's ports, GCnet, in collaboration with the Bank of Ghana. It involves automation of export documentation and whilst ensuring better coordination among government agencies at the ports. The product development manager of GCnet, Carl Saki, tells Joy Business the system will track export proceeds to ensure that foreign exchange earned from exports are repatriated to Ghana.
System that we've launched today, basically we're showcasing to exporters and stakeholders, is basically to replace the manual way of doing exports and remittances. What this is going to enable the central bank and government to be able to do is to be able to, at the click of a button, now the system is actually automated, and so if I'm exporting, I need to state the bank that is going to receive the proceeds of so after 90 days, 30 days, whichever period, and the bank will have to confirm. So immediately the bank doesn't confirm, the system automatically alerts the central bank that I have exported goods worth $1 million, gold worth $1 million for whatever amount. The proceeds have not come in, and the central bank is going to be able to follow up on it. Now, secondly, what it's also going to do is to prevent you from doing exports. And so if you don't repatriate, the proceeds are not repatriated, you can't do subsequent exports and you'll be held liable. And so basically it's just trying to mobilize the forex reserves of the country, monies that will go out, we sell goods and services are exported, and the monies don't come in. The monies are going to come in. It's going to help government to do its planning, to be able to improve revenue mobilization.
The Bank of Ghana is also hopeful the system will help address the depreciating Ghana cedi by blocking leakages in foreign exchange from export proceeds. Some stakeholders also hailed the initiative as timely for their respective operations.
This is something that we've been waiting for so long, right? Because most of our competitors are Indians. They come into the system and they use the swapping type of currency. And they give you cedi, dollar in Dubai, they give me cedi here. And they compete in the floor with us. You understand? So it become very uncomfortable for us. So we are very happy it is coming, honestly.
We are asking the dealing banks, I'm talking of the banks who are the customer, who have the exporters as their customers, to receive the exports in foreign currency and then deal with the exporters themselves. So it's a way of giving forex to the commercial banks.
The system, to be implemented from July 1st, will apply to both traditional and non-traditional exports. It gives meaning to a notice issued by the Central Bank on May 30th this year on the amendments to requirements for surrender and repatriation of export receipts.
Now, in other news, statistics indicate that over 630,000 businesses were registered in the country in 2014. Out of this figure, almost 80% was made up of micro enterprises. Here's more on Integrated Business Establishment Survey report released by the Ghana Statistical Service.
The Integrated Business Establishment Survey was initiated in 2014 to provide credible data on the formal and informal businesses operating in the country to help in economic planning. It captured data on non-household businesses operating in the country. According to the report, about 83% of non-household businesses could be found in the services sector. Industry followed with 17%, while agriculture recorded less than 1%. Project coordinator Anthony Cracker shared some more findings.
Yeah, we found out we have about 638,000 establishments in the country, and we found about 3.4 million jobs. These 638,000 establishments employ about 3.4 million people in the country. And then for 2014, we also realized that about 208,000 jobs were created countrywide by these non-household establishments. Yes, you realize that you see that about more than a third of these employments were in Greater Accra region, for instance. whilst the region has about a quarter of establishments. Now you realize that even though there are a lot of micro or small businesses, do not contribute much to employment, unlike the large ones.
Launching the report on behalf of the Ministry of Trade and Industry, Chief Director of the Ministry, Duanoba Baker, highlighted the importance of this report in shaping government's decisions.
Mr. Chairman, over the years, my ministry has successfully collaborated with the GSS to conduct industrial censuses which focus only on the industrial sector in Ghana. The current economic census, IBES, however, spans all sectors of the economy, and I am reliably informed that it is the first of its kind to be conducted in Ghana. This indeed is a great achievement, and my ministry is proud to be associated with it.
The Ghana Statistical Service is working on the second phase of the report, which would give detailed information on the 22 subsectors of the economy.
Over 50 businesses in the capital have been shut down for breaching the tax obligations. This is after the Special Revenue Mobilization Task Force embarked on a door-to-door tax compliance exercise this morning in some retail markets. Sarah Josu works with the task force and reports.
The affected businesses comprised 3 printing press companies and over 44 mobile phone shops at Tiptoe Lane, including Franco Trading Enterprise, whose offences included the issuance of unapproved receipts from their computers, no VAT invoices, and tax evasions. The businesses had defaulted in tax payment to the tune of 441,000 Ghana cedis in total between 2013 and 2015. The managing directors of Skyco Printing Press in Adabraka and Diamant's Printing Press in Kokomlemle were arrested for doctoring the serial numbers on their tax clearance certificates and thereby evading taxes. Director of the Task Force and Chief Revenue Officer at the Ghana Revenue Authority, Theophilus Gaskin, seized the opportunity to caution operators engaging rental service companies to also honor their rent taxes to forestall such actions against them. The exercise forms part of the initiatives by the Ghana Revenue Authority to get tax defaulting businesses to honor their obligation to the benefit of the economy. The affected companies would have to establish their tax positions and pay the differences as well as the penalty required before they can resume work. For Joy Business, Sarah Josu.
We are taking a short break. Business Live will be back. Welcome back. And the over 50 businesses in the capital have been shut down for breaching that. Now we'll be taking some stories on today's agenda, and as we look at that, we'll be looking at how the construction index is actually being neglected and how significant it is here in Ghana.
Another Thursday is here. You're welcome to the Business Agenda on Business Live. In today's edition, we are looking at the construction industry. You know, it's set to hold the key to the nation's economic development, but the sector is plagued with numerous challenges as the major infrastructure projects, government or national infrastructure projects, are won by international firms to the detriment of local construction firms. Usually the argument is that local companies do not have the capacity to embark on such projects, the reason why international firms do win such contracts. But Global Communities Ghana, implementers of the Youth Inclusive Entrepreneurial Development Initiative for Employment, believes a review of the local content policy could reverse this to the advantage of the economy and the local sector.
If you look at the construction sector, whatever its impact, it permeates every sector of the economy. And so when the construction sector is booming, it actually creates additional opportunities for people within the other sectors of the economy. But what we've noticed over the years is that though the construction sector is booming, it is still confronted with a lot of challenges, which has contributed in making the local construction industry still struggling. For instance, a contractor completes a project and it takes almost like 3 years for the person to be paid. But one of the requirements for you to get a Government of Ghana contract is for you to show or demonstrate some financial strength. How can you demonstrate that if you implement a project and it takes you years for you to pay? And so if you couple that one with government's insatiable desire to borrow, which has more or less crowded the private sector out of the borrowing market, so most contractors are now left with short-term loans, and short-term loans, they pick it up at short-term of repayment. So you are unable to sell off your product so that you repay the
So that was Kuku Aban with that report and the agenda. That ends Business Live today. My name is John Kojo Amwaku, but you can still stay interactive and give us your feedback. If you want to tweet out, to the handle is Joy Business GH, and on Facebook it is Joy Business. For more business stories, you can log on to myjoyonline.com/business. Have a very good evening.